Egypt is home to one of the world's oldest civilizations, dating back over 5,000 years. The Nile River, which flows through Egypt, is the longest river in the world, stretching over 6,650 kilometers, 4,130 miles. The Great Pyramid of Giza is the only surviving wonder of the seven wonders of the ancient world. The ancient Egyptians believed in over 2,000 gods and goddesses, with Ra, the sun god, being one of the most important. Hieroglyphics, the writing system used by ancient Egyptians, consists of over 700 symbols. The Sphinx of Giza has the body of a lion and the head of a pharaoh, believed to represent Pharaoh Khafre. Ancient Egyptians practiced mummification to preserve bodies for the afterlife, believing it was necessary for eternal life. The famous archaeologist Howard Carter discovered the tomb of Tutankhamun in 1922, revealing countless treasures. The Egyptian pyramids were originally covered in limestone casing stones that reflected the sun's light, making them shine brightly. The Rosetta Stone, discovered in 1799, was the key to deciphering Egyptian hieroglyphics. Cats were revered in ancient Egypt, with the goddess Batet often depicted as a lioness or domestic cat, symbolizing protection and fertility. The ancient Egyptians invented a calendar based on the lunar cycle, which later helped develop the modern calendar. Cleopatra VII was the last active ruler of the Ptolemaic Kingdom of Egypt, known for her intelligence, political acumen, and beauty. The Valley of the Kings served as the burial site for many pharaohs, including Ramses II and Tutankhamun. The ancient Egyptians used papyrus, a plant-based material, to create one of the first forms of paper. Pharaohs were often buried with their possessions, including food, jewelry, and even servants, to accompany them in the afterlife. The Temple of Karnak in Luxor is one of the largest religious buildings ever constructed, dedicated to the god Ammonius. The ancient Egyptians invented numerous mathematical concepts, including geometry and basic algebra. The fertile Nile Delta is one of the most productive agricultural regions in the world, supporting a significant portion of Egypt's population. The ancient Egyptians were skilled in medicine, performing surgeries and using herbal remedies over 3,000 years ago. The city of Alexandria, founded by Alexander the Great, was once home to the Great Library, one of the largest and most significant libraries of the ancient world. The ancient Egyptians played games, including Senet, which is considered one of the oldest board games in history. The pharaohs were often considered gods on earth and were believed to maintain Ma'at, or cosmic order and balance. Egyptian art was highly symbolic, with colors and poses holding specific meanings in religious and cultural contexts. The first known peace treaty in history was signed between Egypt and the Hittites following the Battle of Kadesh in 1274 BCE. The goddess Isis was one of the most important deities in ancient Egypt, representing motherhood, magic, and fertility. The ancient Egyptians excelled in architecture, building massive structures with precise measurements, many of which still stand today. The term pharaoh originally referred to the royal palace but later became synonymous with the king of Egypt. Ancient Egyptians believed that the heart was the center of intelligence and emotion, which is why it was preserved during mummification. The Book of the Dead is a collection of spells and prayers designed to assist the deceased in navigating the afterlife. Queen Hatshepsut was one of the few female pharaohs, known for her prosperous reign and extensive building projects. The crocodile god Sobek represented strength and military power, and crocodiles were often kept in temples. Ancient Egyptians practiced agriculture using advanced irrigation techniques, which allowed them to cultivate crops along the Nile. The city of Memphis was the capital of ancient Egypt during the Old Kingdom and remained significant for centuries. The ancient Egyptians introduced the practice of circumcision, which was prevalent among both sexes for cultural and religious reasons. The color blue was associated with the Nile and creation in Egyptian culture, often used in jewelry and art. The Ankh symbol represents life and eternal existence, often carried by gods or featured in tombs. The first known female physician, Heshek, served in ancient Egypt, indicating advanced medical practices of the time. The calendar system was crucial for predicting the annual flooding of the Nile, which supported agriculture. Mummified animals, including cats, falcons, and dogs, were often buried as offerings to the gods. The Temple of Luxor was built to honor the god Ammonius and is a stunning example of ancient Egyptian architecture. The ancient Egyptians were skilled in metallurgy, creating jewelry and tools from gold, silver, and copper. The word Egypt derives from the Greek word Aegyptos, which itself is derived from the ancient Egyptian name Hwt. The city of Thebes, modern-day Luxor, was once the religious capital of ancient Egypt, with many temples and monuments dedicated to the gods. The ancient Egyptians celebrated numerous festivals, including the Opet festival, which honored the god Ammonius and involved parades and feasting. Egyptian hieroglyphs included both logographic and alphabetic elements, making it a complex writing system. The scarab beetle was a symbol of regeneration and transformation, often depicted in amulets and art. Ancient Egyptians practiced a form of democratic assembly known as the Bama'at system, promoting justice and fairness. The Great Library of Alexandria was a major center of learning and housed countless scrolls and manuscripts. The ancient Egyptians created intricate pottery, often decorated with vibrant colors and designs reflective of their culture. Scribes held a prestigious position in society, as they were the only ones who could read and write hieroglyphs. The goddess Hathor was worshipped as the goddess of love, music, and motherhood, often depicted with cow horns. The ancient Egyptian diet was primarily vegetarian, consisting of grains, vegetables, and fruits, with fish and meat consumed during festivals. The site of Abu Simbel features massive temples carved into rock, built by Ramses II to commemorate his reign. The ancient Egyptians had a complex system of mathematics, which they used for trade, construction, and astronomy.